Hey there, welcome back to the channel. So today I wanted to give you a bit of a review and I guess some additional thoughts on the times they are changing. I've never really done album reviews before, so I'm pretty sure this will not be great. But as I always say, if we keep your expectations low, you will not be disappointed. But yeah, I still wanted to share my thoughts with you and just kind of the impression the album left on me and just like how I felt about everything, including my reaction to the album. Um, so to start, I think I almost walked away from the times they were changing thinking I didn't like the album, but that's not necessarily true. I mean, what really happened is that I was very uncomfortable with the album. It made me uncomfortable. I don't think I've ever really listened to an album that made me feel unsettled from beginning to end. And the times they are changing did that. It left a terrible taste in my mouth, in the best way possible, which, I don't know how that works, but that's kind of how it came across. And so, a lot of these songs just kind of challenged society, challenged the thought process of the individual, begged and demanded that they change the way they think about things and they look at the world. And, you know, I found it incredibly bold of Bob Dylan at this time of his life, what, 23, maybe 24, to be writing music like this. I feel like it's pretty obvious to me that this was always like in his spirit in terms of just like his intention for his music and what he wanted to communicate with the world. And I'm just really impressed by the album. Songs like The Times They Are Changing. So let me scooch out of the way. I have them listed over here, like The Times They Are Changing, Ballad of Hollis Brown, and just kind of like how that caused me to really sink into the feeling of Hollis Brown and who he, this storytelling of this person who kind of is living like their back is against the wall with God on our side, and just the irony of all of that. It's like, what are you even talking about? One Too Many Mornings. Do I remember how One Too Many Mornings goes? Let me take a quick look at that and see. Yeah. This is like the one about his girlfriend, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, this one was very like tired, like exhausted, like I'm over this. I'm over this. I'm just done with this relationship. And like it really came across that way. For North Country Blues. Yeah. This is the one about like the kind of iron mining thing. So yeah, North Country Blues, and the story of loss, and how this person basically lost their family, or lost their, I believe it was their brother that they lost, or was it their father? Let me double check. They lost their brother, yeah. They lost their brother and somebody else, what father? Yeah, lost their brother and their father. And, that one again just left this very, like, just really sad storytelling, really sad outcomes, only a pawn in their game. I mean, the way I feel about only a pawn in their game is very layered. I feel like my initial response or reaction to the song, I felt like it was okay because it's how I feel about conversations like that. Yes, Bob Dylan was doing a whole lot more than I took away from the song in my initial listening, but I feel like at the core of it, like Only a Pawn in Their Game is such an incredible like foundation to begin a conversation with about society and how they control what people do and how they influence those things, to talk about the mindset of people who then are being puppeteered by the state or puppeteered by government or whatever. And just like there's just so many layers to the conversation. And I feel like that to me makes this one of the most beautiful pieces that I've ever heard from Bob Dylan. Like the fact that you're able to do so much with this one song is really impressive to me. So I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed what it meant, what it means. And, I'm good with how I felt about it. But I also am able to see from your comments that there was more. And after I was listening to it as I was editing it, I was like, there's even more here. And I think that's what happens with the music. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm listening to it for the first time. So my takeaway from it is not going to be perfect. Like, obviously I'm going to have to go back to it and listen to it again and again to develop new perspectives. And I think that's a beautiful thing about music like this, is that you're constantly wanting to revisit it. So I'm good with that. Boots of Spanish Leather, heartbreak, kind of like your person leaving you and kind of holding on to whatever you can. That's what I took away from it. You tell me if I'm wrong. And then when the ship comes in, as I learned from the second part of No Direction Home, this was written on the night where he went someplace. I forget her name now. Is it in the overview by any chance? No, there's no overview for this. Yeah, here we go. Yes, yes, yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so basically him being upset and saying when the ship comes in because you guys didn't want to give him, they didn't want to give him a hotel room, and I love that. The Lonesome Death of Hattie Carroll. I feel like one of the things I really admire about Bob Dylan is him deciding that he's going to put these people in his music, him deciding that, I'm going to write a song about Hattie Carroll and I'm going to make it detailed. And how long was that song? Let me see. Yeah, 5 minutes. And I'm going to make it 5 minutes long. Yeah, I'm going to make it 5 minutes long. I'm going to ensure that this person's story does not die. Like by putting it in your album, by making such a detailed song, such a thoughtful song, I feel like it makes it clear, that this person was valued, that you see them as a valuable person, and now they are attached to your history and to your legacy. And I really loved it. I love what he did with that. And the fact that he continues to do this, like even with Hurricane, which is one of my favorite songs of his, just constantly choosing to lift people up from society and try to support them in his music. And then Restless Farewell definitely contributed to that disquiet, to that unsettled feeling. And yeah, by the time I was done, I was like, did I like it was, I feel like on a deeper level, it was obvious to me that I liked the album, but like I couldn't, like you just can't, like there's an ingredient in something and you can't really tell what it is, so you're trying to figure it out. Like, is this me not liking the album, or is this me just terribly disturbed? And it really was just, I was just terribly disturbed. And so it left just a bad taste in my mouth. But a beautiful, beautiful work of art. I think not often do you find musicians saying, I'm going to write and I'm going to make an album that's going to leave people, make people uncomfortable. Sorry. Sorry about that. Not often I'm going to write an album that's going to make people uncomfortable. Not often do you see them saying, I'm going to make sure that every single song on this tackles some aspect of society, something that's going to make people uncomfortable and make people think. And I feel like as I continue to listen to Bob Dylan, I realize that this is a major part of just like who he is. And a lot of people have told me about his humor and all these different things, and he's made songs like The Rolling Stone, which I listened to the live performance of it, which some of you said, oh, this is just Bob's way of doing whatever. I think some people mentioned like, oh, this person was really mean, and now they're humbled, and there are a myriad of different perspectives. But I personally, so far with getting to know Bob Dylan, I like what I'm seeing. I like who he is. And, I feel like I'm going to continue to remain receptive to Bob and how he evolves. And I think that's kind of all that's kind of required of me, is to remain receptive and remain true to myself about how I feel about the music, and remain true to you because, why wouldn't I be? But yeah, thank you for watching my review for The Times They Are Changing. I don't know what was missing. I do not know what was missing. Um, Probably, I don't know, maybe how, yeah, I think I touched on everything. I think one other thing I did say in the reaction is another part of what makes this like unsettling is how it aligns to society today and how little things have changed. And I don't really know what people need to shake them out of the stupor they're in, but I think the work of people like Bob Dylan go a very long way for the common man in terms of just waking up. And the more of us that wake up, the better chances we're going to have of surviving as a species, and, helping people in society who are downtrodden and often forgotten about. So, yeah, loved it. Loved it. So I'm going to go on now to listen to another side of Bob Dylan. I thought I should at least do this first while my thoughts are fresh on the album before I then go and receive new music. So Again, I hope you enjoyed this. If you don't know, music reactions are not monetizable because it uses copyrighted content. I think about maybe 98% of what I upload, I can't make money from ads on. So you watching these reviews go a very long way. So thank you for being here. Thank you for sticking with it. It's my first one. And I'll continue to do them because that definitely helps to balance things out and adds a little bit more thoughtfulness to what we listen to and how we think about it and allows for deeper conversation. So yeah, thank you for being here and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.